Hey everyone, I know it's been a while, and it's time for me to do another book review. And today I'm going to be doing Texas Ranger by James Patterson. This is relatively new, so it's about this guy named Rory Yates, who is a Texas Ranger, and he finds his ex-wife has been murdered. He's a suspect, and he decides to. At first he's told, obviously, not to get involved in the investigation because it's his wife, it's his ex-wife, but he decides to investigate anyway, as these stories typically go. And then there is, and then another murder happens. He's seen as a prime suspect, and and then there's somebody he suspects might be behind the murders. So it's a question of, it's basically a whodunit. So it's interesting how Rory is described, as like James Patterson calls him his most honorable detective. I would actually very disagree with that. Rory is a decent character, but he's a bit of a hothead, to be honest. Especially when he really has a hatred for his ex-wife's boyfriend, Cal, who he had run-ins before. He'd arrested Cal before when they were younger and whatnot, so he has issues with Cal. And so Cal's the guy that he pinpoints, that he suspects that Cal's behind the murder. And, it's this is going to be a bit of a spoiler, but it's just, it was actually kind of rather annoying that he was hunting down Cal when it's just given how the story goes, you can kind of clearly see that Cal's not the killer. Again, that's a spoiler alert. If you don't, I apologize. So it is rather annoying to watch Rory just chase this guy all the time. It's him. Cal thinks that Rory's the killer, and it's just, yeah, that one's annoying. I gotta say this. I do like Rory. His interesting trait is that he's a quick draw in the modern world, very accurate with a gun, which is, it comes in useful in the beginning of the story, but then after that it kind of peters off. It's not very relevant to the story as a whole. The killer, I had already narrowed it down to my head that it was between one of two people. And so when I found out that I was correct, that it was one of the two people, I wasn't very surprised. It was interesting, the reason behind it. And once I found out who the killer was, it was very easy to say, it was very easy to understand like what the motive was behind it. So the book itself was rather predictable, I'd say, and just kind of with some more irrelevant stuff. I don't know if Patterson is aiming to make this a series, because there's another story where Rory's father has been diagnosed with cancer and is supposed to be undergoing surgery very soon. So Rory just kind of has, his world is kind of spiraling out of control. His ex-wife, who he still carries the torch for, is dead. His father's sick. There's a little bit of drama in the family, and he's chasing his ex-wife's boyfriend around because he's just obsessed with taking this guy down, which, this guy's a Texas Ranger, so he's also part cop, part detective, and you'd think that, granted that the victim is somebody so close to him, you would think that he'd use kind of better judgment. Maybe I'm not giving him enough credit. I mean, he is a fun character to follow. He just has the kind of the typical tough guy thing about him. It's interesting how he feels about being a Texas Ranger, because it had affected his relationship with his wife. Kind of caused a rift in their marriage, which led to their divorce because he's so obsessed with being a cop, which again is something that you've seen many times before. To be honest, I find his character rather forgettable. And this is not really a reflection on James Patterson, who has created such memorable characters as Alex Cross and Michael Bennett. Very great characters. But it's a decent read. I had actually just read Cryptonomicon by Neil Stephenson right before this book, and I'll be reviewing that one too. And that book was just exceptionally long, exceptionally a lot of use of exposition. 1,100-page book compared to a book that's relatively 300 pages and very simple to read. In comparison, it was refreshing in a way after finishing Cryptonomicon. But I'd say I'd probably give this a 3 out of 5 stars. If you are a diehard James Patterson reader, you'll like it. If you like murder mystery, you'll probably get your fill. But if you're looking for anything spectacularly new in the genre, you probably won't get much there. So if you enjoy this, if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe and follow me. And I also have books that I've written in the crime thriller. If you enjoy crime thriller books like I do, you can check out all my books at jamesmichaelsbooks.com. And thank you for tuning in. Peace.